everyone, Jana here from the Bob Hoffman YMCA in Dover. Today we're going to do some lower body stretches, so a lower body release, lots of hips, lots of hamstrings, and yeah, hopefully it'll make you feel good. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to start in child's pose, so come slide onto the mat. Hands and wrists directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. It may feel better for you to bring the knees out a little bit wider. If that's the case, have at it. Either way, set your hips right back onto those heels and lower the chest towards the floor. Taking a nice deep breath and letting it out. Again, drawing the breath in and allow it to reach the lower part of the back. And on that exhale, see if you can allow the hips to drop in just a little bit farther. And allow the chest to drop towards the floor. So we're going to stay here just for a few breaths, just to begin to wake up the hip joint. And then we'll start some slow movements into cat and cow to warm up the spine. So breathing in. And breathing out. Again, drawing the breath in nice and smooth through the nose. Filling the back body. And out through the nose. Releasing every bit of tension and sinking into the pose. One more breath. And out it comes. On the next inhale, let's bring ourselves up to all fours. And we come up on the in-breath. And now make sure that you have those knees under the hips if they were out wide. So from here, let's bring the shoulders down the spine, draw the belly in, and let the belly drop, and lift the chest. Moving into cat and cow. Again, just warming up the spine. Drawing the breath in. And letting the breath out. Scoop the belly high. Round out the shoulders. Drop the crown of the head. Press away as you breathe out. And breathe in again. Dropping the belly. And exhale, rounding it out. Breathing in. Just a few more times. Just enjoy the movement. Nice and slow. And breathe out and roll up. Let's go one more time. Breathing in, shoulders down the spine, lifting the chest, rolling the pelvis, and scooping it up. Yeah. Coming to neutral. So our belly is pulled up into our back. Again, wrists stay under the shoulders. And let's take a look back towards the side hip. And release to the other side. Again, just warming up the spine. All right. And last one. To the back. And back to neutral. All right, from here, let's tuck the toes and lift the hips high into down dog. So we're going to take a few breaths here. Begin to reach the heels towards the floor, rolling the pelvis forward, dropping the chest between the arms, letting the shoulders slide down the spine, and releasing the neck. Begin to feel the opening from the back of the heels and your Achilles all the way up to the back of the knees, into the hamstrings, into the shoulders, all the way down the arms. And breathe. Beginning to work into the legs. And then take a moment and just start walking out your dog. Excuse that. Let me wardrobe adjust there for everyone. There we go. And then we walk side to side. And then reset back into down dog, so both heels drop. And again, let's take a few nice long breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. On that exhale, allow yourself to find that edge and just go there. One more breath. And exhale. Bring the knees back down. Back to neutral. And let's go back to the cat and cow. So we roll up through. And then we drop the belly for cow. And we scoop the belly again. Exhale everything you've got. Pull that belly into the spine. Roll through the shoulders. And lift the chest high. Okay, back to neutral. All right, so now we're going to go into the legs. Now that our spine is nice and warm, let's take that front foot. Let's step it forward and find ourselves into a low lunge. So setting it up, we want to make sure that that ankle is right below that knee. The chest is square to the floor, and we drop the hips in. Really allow yourself to feel the opening through the hip flexor of that back leg. And once you find that, take a breath in and just come up. And just settle down in. Think about taking those hips and keeping them square. And as you do so, notice if you feel some more opening through the outside of the hip. And as you drop in, feel that opening in that front hip flexor. Draw the breath in and out. Bringing the hands to the lower part of the back, your thumbs right there in the lower back, pulling the shoulder blades together. Draw the breath in and exhale, sink in and open the chest. Oh, doesn't that feel wonderful? Oh yeah. On the inhale, come on out. Sit those hips back, and we're going to work into the hamstring of that same leg on the front. Sitting the hips back a little bit, dropping them down, drawing the toes up if it feels good. If necessary, just slight bend in the knee. Again, we're going to breathe in and breathe out. Relax down into that leg. On the in-breath, come on up. And back into the low lunge. allowing yourself to just settle down in. And back again. On that in-breath, on the exhale, allow yourself to sit back in. Thinking about keeping that chest square to the leg and to the floor. Keeping your hips square as you pull this front hip back to keep your hips square. You'll notice more engagement in that hamstring. And one more time, we come forward. Yeah. Now, if you'd like, you can stay here and continue just dropping those hips towards the floor. Or if you'd really like to take it to that next level, extend that front leg and begin to work on those splits. Lifting through the chest. Now we'll just see where it can go. I've yet to make it to the floor. Oh, and just maybe a side to side, just a little bit. Take a breath. And when you're ready, just come on out. If you're in that lunge, just bring that leg back under, coming back to all fours. One more time, let's scoop the belly up. And drop the belly down. Because once we do something to one side, we have to do it to the other, right? We've got to maintain that balance. So let's take the back leg, step it forward, and find that low lunge. Again, setting it up so that ankle is right under that knee. Squaring everything up, dropping into that hip, squaring the hips, and feel that opening right through that hip flexor. Oh, and just breathe. Continuing to keep the hips square, because as you relax into it, you may notice that your knee wants to open. Totally normal. But let's try to keep it right in line with that ankle. Let's come on up. Again, sink down in. And again, we can take the hands and place them on the lower back or on the hips with the thumbs at the lower back. Pull the elbows together. Lift the chest and find a baby back bend here as you squeeze everything towards the midline. Oh, and sink in deep. Keeping the chin down to protect the neck. Let's take one more breath. And let's release. Nice and easy. Yeah, let's sit the hips back and get into that hamstring. Again, lowering the hips down, opening up the back of the leg. Pulling the foot back towards your nose. And settling in. Take our breaths here. On that inhale, switch yourself forward again. And maybe you notice, after a couple back and forths, you can drop in just a little bit farther. Continuing to release through the shoulders. Just letting go of everything. Settling in. Feeling the opening on each exhale. Just a little bit more. And we sit back. Continuing to use that breath. As you inhale, you can always come out of the stretch just a little bit. And then on that exhale, you just take it a little bit farther, right to that edge, and you breathe into that edge. Not to the point where you feel true discomfort, but it should feel good. And everybody's different. That edge is different for every one of us. Whew. We spend our days seated at a desk, we may find that our hips are extremely tight. If we do lots of running, we may find that our hips are extremely tight. If we do lots of raking in the garden, we may find that our hamstrings are super tight. So we're all different, right? All right, so here's where we can take it a little bit farther if you'd like. You can stay in that forward low lunge, and if you would like, extend that foot forward, and go into that split. Again, be gentle with yourself. And just breathe. Yeah. Breath in. Maybe a side to side, and out, and let's come back in. Back into that all four neutral. Dropping the belly. Deep breath in. Shoulders back. Exhale. Scoop up that belly. All right. Let's take that back leg, swing it over, or swing it around. We're going to come into some modified half lotus. Now we're going to get into opening the hips even more. More so on the outside. We just worked the front, the back of the hamstrings, and now we're going to go to the outside of the hips. So modified half lotus. Right now I have my, this would be your right. So go ahead and take your right, tuck it under, take your left, cross it in front to start. If that feels good, totally fine. If you would like a little bit more, let's stack it on top of the leg, flexing your feet. If that feels good also, you could even progress to bring your foot up on top of your knee. Wherever you are, let's pull those toes back to make sure we protect that knee joint. So to start, we're going to take those hands, we're going to put them right behind. We're going to take a deep breath and lift up through the chest and exhale. And allow that top knee to drop, and you'll feel that opening through the outside of that hip. Lifting through that chest, imagining that we take that pelvis and we roll it forward. So we take that belly button and try to point it towards the floor as we pull the shoulder blades back and press the knee away. Again, we breathe here. Just taking note of the sensations that we feel. And just notice that on each exhale, it may go just a little bit deeper and feel just a little bit better. Let's release and come back to center. Let's take that right hand, the one that's with the foot on top, and lift away. So here we want to think about taking that outside hip and pressing it into the floor as we C-shape our spine, lifting up and out of the side ribs and reaching over. And just relax. Soften the shoulders. And And again, use the breath to take it to that edge. And let's come back out. And let's just go right to the other side just for a moment. Keep pressing down through that top knee. Soften the shoulders and go. And release. Okay, so let's switch sides. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. Again, choose your option. The foot can be on the floor. It could be up on the leg. It can be up on the knee. Let's again start by putting hands behind, pulling the shoulder blades together, lifting up through the chest, and rolling the pelvis forward. And breathe. Breath, it's the most important part. Most important part of our day, of our life, of our practice. Without it, we have nothing, right? So be gentle with the breath. Let it enter and fill. And let it escort the tension. Let it escort all that negative energy out of ourselves. Breathing in softness, breathing in that flexibility. And release. Again, let's lift up and away from that top foot. Keeping both hips grounded into the floor. Shoulders down the spine, soften through the neck, and just reach. Lifting that elbow towards the sky, and C-shaping that spine. Pressing knees towards the floor, and breathe. I like to imagine an ocean and the waves just crashing on the shore. It helps me envision that C shape of my spine. And as the water flows, it makes me think about just softening through. Coming to the other side. Just for a moment, breathing in, breathing out, and reaching. You can soften through the shoulders, making sure that this knee isn't popping up, but like pressing down towards the floor. And coming back up. All right. Let's go ahead and take our feet. Let's reach them forward. We're going to go into some forward folds. Actually, I'll go side on for you. So what we want to do is pick up that flesh part of your booty so you're sitting right down into those sits bones. And we lift up that chest and we draw that belly in, right? And from here, we reach forward with the chest towards the legs. And as we reach, we can begin to feel the stretch really engage the entire back part of our legs. Arms are soft at the sides. And once you get to that point where you can't reach any farther, then roll your spine down. Then soften into the stretch. If we start at the beginning and just roll ourselves forward, we miss the engagement through the back of the legs. The keeping of the spine long, leaning forward, really focuses that stretch into the muscles of the back of the legs. So when you get to that point where you can just soften, allow the head to drop to introduce that stretch to the back of the neck. It may feel good to grab the toes or grab the feet. Just whatever feels good to you. But just keep engaging the back of the hand and back of the legs, the hamstrings, the calves behind the knees. Again, find that edge and breathe right into it. That's Miss Olivia. And let's roll up. Let's take that front foot, pull it right into the inside of the leg. Take the chest, roll it towards that thigh, and drop your chest down. Lowering the nose towards the knee. Taking a breath, coming on up. Take that hand and lift it to the outside of the foot and then fold down once more. And notice how that changes the stretch. Notice how it brings it into the lower part of the back onto the side. Again, reaching down into those hips. Take a breath. And release. Again, let's do it to the other side. Extend the opposite foot, draw that front foot in to the inside of the leg, chest square over the leg, and we lower down in. Again, continuing to think about reaching long over that leg. As you reach, notice how it engages into that hamstring. And as you breathe in, come on up. Take the back hand, cross over the foot, drop down again. And as the breath comes in, bring yourself up. And we'll finish in our happy baby. We all love happy baby, right? So we lay flat on the back. Feet we lift to the sky. Take your hands to the inside or outside of the feet, whatever makes sense for you, whatever feels best. And when you're ready, let's bring the knees wide, drop them down, like into the armpits or into the floor, and just relax. And we can rock side to side if that feels good. Think about flexing the feet, reaching towards the heels, the toes pull back. Notice if that changes your stretch at all. And if you want to bring it up a little bit higher, take those peace sign fingers, wrap the toes, and bring the heels wide. Let the shoulders drop towards the floor. Breathe. And we can release. There we go. Give yourselves a little hug. Give yourselves a little rock. And hopefully that makes your hips and your legs and your lower back feel really good for this lower back release. And I hope you you all enjoy the rest of your day. All right, take care, everyone.